On the program today, Arik Air accuses Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria of disrupting its flight operations against court order. Aviation experts ask Minister of State to be more active. Plus, International Air Transport Association, International Freight Forwarders Association sign agreement on air cargo program. Hello and welcome to your number one aviation program, Flight 101. I'm Lillian Ezemat. Flight time is 30 minutes. Fasten your seatbelts, relax. Let's enjoy the trip. Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, and Arik Air have commenced another round of hostilities just a few months after both parties made accusations and counter-accusations over a $40 million debt. Arik Air claims that FAN disrupted its flight against court order. Arik Air said the courts directed that it should be allowed to operate flights uninterrupted, but that the agency disrupted its operations at the domestic general aviation terminal and international terminal of the Murtala Mohammed Airport, as workers of the agency prevented the airline from gaining access to the airside of both terminals. According to the airline, access to the airside was critical to moving catering supplies and sundry items to the aircraft, as well as the movement of its personnel to the aircraft for departure. The carrier said the access is also necessary for the airline to conduct secondary security screening, mandatory security checks, and to secure the aircraft at all times in line with the International Civil Aviation Organization standard and recommended practice. Arik Air and FAN have a lingering disagreement over long-standing indebtedness of the airline to the agency. The matter is now before the Federal High Court in Lagos and was recently adjourned to 10th of October 2016. FAN claimed that Arik Air owed it 12.5 billion naira, a claim Arik Air denies. The airline, in a counterclaim, insisted that it paid FAN more than 18.5 billion naira since it commenced operations in 2006. The alleged disruption of Arik Air's flight by FAN is also coming 3 months after Bicotni Aviation Services Limited claimed that Arik Air owed it 12.5 billion naira and not FAN. The FAN's General Manager Public Affairs could not be reached for FAN's official reaction on the matter. Not many are impressed with the performance of Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika. They are disappointed over the seeming drifting of the aviation sector, and that is why they are calling for the overhaul of the sector. They made this known in Lagos.
Morale seems to be low as the price of Jet A1 continues to rise, increasing the overhead cost of the local airlines. There is also corruption allegation leveled against management of agencies, while the regulatory authority is accused of losing grip of its statutory functions. Some industry observers claim that a group is sabotaging the progress of the sector.
What I'm saying is that the minister needs to understand the wuru to the answer that all of them are giving. They came up and said they need zero tax. They came on and said they want, what do you call it, custom duty free. You get concession of 200 billion from government. Private operators, 200 billion. How much of it have they returned? You are not paying for service charge that they gave you. You are in debt. We are not talking of insurance. We are not talking of money. Probably they are owing for those who are maintaining aircraft for them. They are not paying tax. FIRS is running after some of them. But you sell tickets. You collect cash.
For these experts, this sector needs urgent reform.
We have policy inconsistencies over the years. We have distortions in the market. We have a hostile environment. If we can address this, and I believe we can, but the truth of the matter is that people believe that to address these problems, the government needs to pump in a lot of money. The government does not need to fund aviation. Aviation can self-sustain, given the numbers in this country. But we need to have the visionary, the right type of people, the expertise necessary to manage the different sectors, in a coherent manner, so that we can see that growth potential. And the government, like I said, can do it, but the political will has to be there to ensure that we're not talking about let's start something and then midway through we change it. The rules have to be consistent. When we show the world that we are ready and we've put in place the necessary frameworks that are, in line or in consonance with international standards, you will see people come in and flocking because, like I said, the market is in Nigeria.
Aviation is economic driver for nations. It contributes 0.4% to Nigeria's gross domestic product, between 40 billion and 50 billion naira annually.
Huge advances in mobile technology and the proliferation of smartphone apps have made travel easier than ever. But choosing the right app for your next trip can feel downright overwhelming.
Edward Frost, British Airways commercial manager for South and East Asia, says the key to convenience is simplicity when using technology to travel. Frost says new apps are being developed and released daily, and while many have merit, you are probably best advised to combine the tried and tested with the flavor of the month and the novelty. Jetlag Genie helps you to adjust your sleep patterns to your long-haul destination before you leave. So, a week before your much-publicized TEDx San Francisco talk, you input your travel date, destination, and usual sleeping time, and it will set alarms to ease you into California's time zone before you fly west. Pocket Yoga helps you stay limber and mindful during long layovers. It's a virtual yoga instructor that guides you through postures and stretches. You choose your theme, ocean, mountain, and so on, the duration of your session and level of expertise. Walk, Jog, Run is useful for getting outdoors in foreign climes, whether you're just out for a stroll or training for your next half marathon. It uses accurate GPS data to provide a variety of safe and interesting routes, new or familiar, as well as tracking your pace and distance covered.
Now international stories. Ryanair logs modest profit growth warns of Brexit. Plus, International Air Transport Association, International Freight Forwarders Association sign agreement on air cargo program. Irish airline Ryanair posted a slight increase in the first quarter net profit, but warned that Brexit could impact its annual earnings.
Ryanair said that earnings before taxation rose 4% to 256 million euros. That's about $281 million in 3 months to the end of June. Ryanair's turnover grew 2% to 1.68 billion euros in the reporting period. The carrier noted its performance was hit by ongoing market volatility arising from terrorist events and repeated air traffic control strikes, as well as the weakness of the pound after the Brexit vote. The Irish airline added that the recent UK vote to leave the European Union was both a surprise and a disappointment, as it had campaigned for Britain to remain in the bloc in the June 23 referendum. The uncertainty, it said, would be damaging to economic growth and consumer confidence. The airline plans to pivot its growth away from UK airports and focus more on growing EU airports over the next 2 years. Meanwhile, budget airline EasyJet warns that Britain's June 23 referendum decision to quit the European Union will hit sales in the second half of this year. The British carrier said the vote would create uncertainty in the economy and among consumers, lowering revenue by some 5% at least compared to the same period last year.
International Air Transport Association IATA and International Federation of Freight Forwarders Association FIATA have signed an agreement to implement the IATA-FIATA Air Cargo Program to replace the existing IATA Cargo Agency Program.
The Director General of IATA, Tony Tyler, signed for the international organization, while the President of IATA, Wu Jianjiao, signed for the association. Over the decades that the IATA Cargo Agency program has operated, IATA Cargo Agents freight forwarders have evolved from being selling agents for airlines to being their purchasing customers. In consideration of this evolution, in 2012, IATA and FIATA joined forces to review and re-engineer the existing agency program. The new program moves decision-making on the rules governing the airline-forwarder relationship away from an airline-led conference to a governance body, the IATA-FIATA Governance Board, jointly managed by forwarders and airlines, which reflects today's market conditions. The IFACP provides a framework to ensure that industry standards are relevant, pragmatic, and fit for purpose. The standards cover the endorsement of freight forwarders and, more broadly, the safe, secure, and efficient transportation of air cargo shipments. IFACP will eliminate unnecessary administrative procedures and costs, as well as free up value resources to tackle the complex challenges that today's global trade presents. These include regulatory compliance, safety and security, and the introduction of new technologies. This agreement paves way for a more successful future for the fastest and most fascinating mode of international transport. On the benefits of the new IATA-FIATA air cargo program, the authorities said the structure of the new agreement better reflects the new business models and the buyer-seller relationship that exists today between forwarders and airlines. It added that with establishment of a global IATA-FIATA governance board, the industry will be better equipped to achieve key goals, including e-cargo priorities of greater efficiency and shared values, clarification of supply chain liability, improved compliance with safety and security standards through a more coordinated and concerted industry approach.